Good evening, friends. Tonight I am going to demonstrate a science lesson plan, which can be found in the textbook, More Picture-Perfect Science Lessons by Karen Ansberry and Emily Morgan. The lesson I will be demonstrating is found in Chapter 14. It is entitled, Roller Coasters. This is an adaptation of that lesson. The materials needed for this lesson are two books, Roller Coaster by Marla Frazee and When I Fall Down by Vicki Cobb. You will also need some marbles and a marble track, pencils and paper, paper clips, quarters, pennies, a key, and some feathers. I will be connecting standards to this lesson. I will be using the Next Generation Science Standard for physical science in the categories of kindergarten through second grade. The standard I will be using is KPS2-2 that says, analyze data to determine if a design solution works as intended to change the speed or direction of an object with a push or a pull. I will also be using the Common Core standards for literacy, RLK.1, with prompting and support, ask and answer questions about key details in a text. WK.7, participate in shared research and writing projects. SLK.3, ask and answer questions in order to seek help, get information, or clarify something that is not understood. I will also connect math standards, MP.2, reason abstractly and quantitatively, and KMDA.1, describe measurable attributes of an object, such as length or weight, describe several measurable attributes of a single object. Now I'm going to present this lesson for you as I would to a group of children. The lesson is written in the 5E system. The 5E system includes 5 parts, each outlined with a word that begins with the letter E. These include engage, explain, explore, elaborate, and evaluate. The first piece is engage. This is where you get the students' attention. I will now present it for you as I would for students. Good morning, class! I am so excited to show you something I brought to school today. And it is just about time to show you, because we finished calendar and we finished writing in our journals, so it's time for our science lesson. And I brought this very fun book with me to school today. It's called Roller Coaster, and it is written by Marla Frazee. Now, Marla Frazee is the author, but she is also the mother of 3 boys, and her boys love roller coasters. They like to talk about how fast they go, and how fast they drop, and how exciting roller coasters are. And this inspired Marla, or made her think, that she wanted to write a book about roller coasters. Now, turn to a friend and ask him or her if she or he has ever been on a roller coaster. When you're finished sharing, put your hand on your shoulder. All right, now we're going to read a couple pages from this fun book, Roller Coaster by Marla Frazee. All of these people are waiting in line for the roller coaster. See how big the line is? There are a lot of people that want to ride this roller coaster. Most of the people have ridden on lots of roller coasters. Some of them have only ridden on a roller coaster once or twice. At least one of them has never ridden on a roller coaster before. Ever. roller coaster is very big and very noisy. Let's take a moment to look at how the illustrator drew the picture of the roller coaster. The illustrator made it so big that it covers 2 pages. Do you see all the swirls and twirls, and the ups and downs and loops of the roller coaster? Slowly, the train is pulled up the hill by a chain. Clickety-clackety, clickety-clackety, up, 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 and then whoosh! Most people scream. Some people can't make a sound. And one person can't even open her eyes. Now, imagine what your face might look like if you were riding on this roller coaster. It might look like this. Or it might look like this. It would probably look pretty funny. Now that we're thinking about roller coasters and how they work, I'd like to show you something else that I brought to school today. We would now move to the Explore, Explain part of the lesson. Thank you, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, for that lovely transition music. This, my friends, is a wooden marble roller coaster track. Look how fun it looks. It has swirls and twirls, and it's very high, so the marbles will go from up at the top to all the way at the bottom of the track. What do you think will happen when we take a marble and we place it at the top? Let's test and find out. Now, let's make a prediction. Do you think there's a way we could make the marble fall down the track faster? Let's experiment. Perhaps if we tilt the track, it would make it go faster. Do you think the marble went faster that time? Do you think there's a way we can make the marble go slower down the track? Let's test it again and predict an outcome. Perhaps if we pull the track towards ourselves, it will go slower. Did the marble go down the track slower that time? We also could use sticky tack to create hills in our track and see if the marble was capable of going over the hills. What do you think causes the marble that sits at the top of our track to fall to the bottom of the track? This is when you would introduce the concept of gravity to the students. You would explain to the students that gravity is a force that pulls everything toward the ground, and that it is impossible to escape gravity, the force of gravity, as long as you are on planet Earth. You would now begin the elaborate part of the lesson. To complete this part of the lesson, you would read to the students from the book I Fall Down by Vicky Cobb. As you read this book, you would place special emphasis on words that related to gravity, such as down or fall. Then, once you have read the book, you would stop at page 15 On this page 15, they describe an experiment. You would perform this experiment in the classroom with your students. Experiment involves a key and a penny. You would ask the students, if I were to hold this penny and this key in the same hand high above the ground, what do you think would happen if I opened my hand? Which piece in my hand, the key or the penny, do you think would hit the ground first? Make a prediction and record it with paper and a pencil. Now, let's test our predictions. Both the key and the penny fell to the ground at the same time. You could further explore this experiment by using quarters, paper clips, and feathers. While doing the experiment, the students would use the paper and pencil to record which objects they felt would fall to the ground faster. The last part of this experiment is the evaluation piece. In the textbook, they offer a quiz one can administer to see if the children understood the concepts. I was not the hugest fan of this quiz. I prefer the idea of letting the children be evaluated by the experiments they conduct. One way to do that is to have the children use a recording sheet to record their predictions and outcomes of their experiments. The children would need to test at least 2 objects by dropping them to the ground and seeing if either of the objects fell to the ground faster than the other. And while doing this, they would need to use the terms gravity, prediction, and outcome. As a teacher, you would prompt the students and remind them of these important words. You could also create an anchor chart that showed these words and have it hanging in the classroom. If the child did 2 demonstrations, 2 experiments, and used the terms gravity, predictions, and outcome, he or she would be able to receive a perfect score on their evaluation. And that is how I would do the lesson plan for roller coaster from the More Picture Perfect Science lessons. Thank you.